Greetings. Taxable assets. Or, should I say, collateral damage.
Auditor Kraus.
Sir, I am Senior Auditor Valerius Kraus. You're currently listening to a mandatory strategic review from deep within the sub-basement bowels of the Departamento Analytica.
The recording rate is lit, sir. We're live.
If you're hearing this, it means your regiment has not yet been liquidated, so congratulations.
The Voxcaster is live across the sector.
I know we're live, you gloss-brained toaster. I turned it on. Now focus.
Yes, sir.
Today we're facing a liability crisis, Scribe. A massive discrepancy in the ledger of war.
A discrepancy.
On my desk sits a report. It's from a civilian contractor, a YouTuber, of all the ridiculous things. The entity known as Auspex Tactics.
The contractor Auspex Tactics is highly regarded for his mathematical analysis, sir, his cogitators. They run at 99.9% efficiency.
I don't care about his cogitators. He submitted a file. Top 10 strongest armies in Warhammer 40k. He claims to know, quote, what's winning in 2026?
Ah, yes, that file.
He speaks of win rates. He speaks of balance. He speaks with, with optimism. It's disgusting.
He does present a positive outlook on the strategic theater.
He looks at a graph and sees a healthy game. I look at the same graph and I see unauthorized expenditure of ammunition. Auspex deals in hope, Scribe, and hope is a rounding error that always leads to disappointment.
So what is our point of comparison?
I have here the counter evidence. The final Warhammer 40k meta report reality check. Classification, vermilion.
The reality check. That contains the raw casualty data from the Munitorum, sir. It is significantly less optimistic.
Precisely. We are going to audit this civilian's optimism against the grim reality of the January 2026 strategic theater.
A direct comparison of the data sets.
We are going to see if his math survives contact with my ledger. Scribe, pick up the file. We're starting with the root cause of this whole fiscal disaster.
That would be the Grotmas incident, sir.
The Grotmas disaster. Read the chart sheet. How did we end up with this mess in the first month of the fiscal year?
According to the reality check executive summary, the strategic environment was destabilized by a unique distribution anomaly.
Anomaly. That's a polite word for it.
It was known as the Grotmas Calendar 2025. It appears to have been a digital delivery mechanism orchestrated by the revolutionary persona known as Dared Gabo.
Dared Gabo. A revolutionary grot. Do you understand the logistical nightmare this creature has caused me, Scribe?
I can imagine, sir.
Usually rules come in codices. Hardback books, shipped on pallets, they're taxable, trackable. We know where they are. We can stamp them. We can verify the shipping manifest.
But the report indicates this was a daily digital release.
It wasn't a release schedule. It was an unregulated data dump. 24 days of PDF data sheets dumped directly onto the noosphere, bypassing all traditional Munitorum supply chains.
That would complicate your filing system.
It ruins it. And Auspex Tactics. He treats these as exciting updates. Oh, look, a new detachment for the Daemons. Oh, wow, a new way to play guard. No, it's not an update. It is a knowledge check.
A knowledge check, Auditor.
That is the thesis of this audit. The meta isn't about grand strategy anymore. It's about administrative compliance. If a field commander didn't download the PDF on day 5, they lose.
So it's about staying current with the data releases.
If they didn't check their cogitator for the errata on day 10, they die. The battlefield has become a test of who has the better Wi-Fi connection. Now let's get into the liabilities. What does our civilian contractor claim is the top-performing asset?
According to the Auspex Tactics transcript, Chaos Demons have, and I quote, shot up to a big 57% win rate.
57%.
Yes, sir. Placing them first in the current rankings. He specifically mentions that the Scintillating Legion is the most played detachment.
57%. That's not a win rate, Scribe. That's an inflation index. That is a market bubble made of pure warp stuff and bad accounting.
Auspex does note that the Lord of Change receiving damage 3 on its main profile was a really big upgrade.
A big upgrade. Yes, I'm sure it was.
He suggests this damage output allows it to reliably liquidate assets like Terminators and even some light vehicles.
It's not just the damage, you malfunction. That's the surface level analysis. Look at the reality check data. Look at the actual mechanics of this so-called Scintillating Legion.
It was a Grotmus drop, sir, a digital phantom.
Exactly. It introduces what my report calls a flux economy. Read the mechanism for fates in flux. Explain it to me like I'm a guardsman who just learned to read.
It appears to be a tug-of-war system, sir. The Tzeentchian player starts with 3 flux tokens.
Right, 3 tokens.
They can spend a token to re-roll, well, virtually any die roll. An advance, a hit, a wound, even damage.
So a universal reroll. It's the ultimate safety net. It's an insurance policy against bad dice. What's the catch?
Well, sir, when they spend a token, the opponent receives it.
And the opponent can then use it, and then...
Then they give it back.
So it's a transaction, a circular economy of failure mitigation. Auspex calls this strong. I call it psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare.
Think about it, Scribe. You are fighting a Lord of Change. He fails a critical save. He just spends a token. Poof. He passes. Now you have the token. You feel powerful. You think, aha, I have the power of the warp.
But then you have to use it.
And the moment you do, you hand the ammunition right back to the enemy. It is a casino where the house always wins because the house is a two-headed bird god that can literally see the future.
The reality check report also flagged an enhancement, sir. It's called Infernal Puppeteer.
I saw that one. It's pure tax fraud. Read it.
It allows a monster to measure range and line of sight from a friendly unit within 9 inches.
Exactly. It's fraud. The Lord of Change is standing behind a solid wall, completely safe, protected by a ruin's footprint. But he's firing magic missiles out of the eyes of some little pink horror 20 inches up the board.
So he's shooting around corners.
He is shooting around corners, Scribe. How do you audit a unit that isn't even in the room when it kills you?
It does seem difficult to counterfile against, sir.
Yeah.
And then there is the stratagem, pyrogenesis.
Oh, yes. The market manipulator. Read the numbers. Tell me how much this costs the Imperium in lost armor.
For 1 command point, it grants +2 strength to a ranged attack.
Standard enough. But there's more.
But if you spend a Flux token, which we've established as part of this circular economy, it grants +3 strength and an additional point of armor penetration. So
let's do the math. What are we looking at?
that's strength 12, AP -3.
Strength 12 shooting, AP -3. From a bird wizard who is hiding behind a wall, Auspex says they are challenging for one of the very strongest factions.
Yes, that's his assessment.
I say they have rigged the stock market. This isn't just a strong army, it's a casino of violence. The Tzeentch players are counting cards, and the rest of the galaxy is just losing their shirts. This 57% win rate isn't skill, it's insider trading. What's the next item on the ledger? Who else is evading their taxes?
That would be the Astra Militarum, sir. The Imperial Guard.
That's right.
Auspex Tactics reports a big 7% jump to a 53% win rate.
The Guard. Finally, an honest, hard-working, 53%. That is suspiciously high for an army equipped with flashlights and T-shirts. What is the driver behind this?
He states that the Grizzled Company detachment has, quote, essentially become the way to play guard.
Grizzled Company. I hate veterans. Do you know why I hate veterans, Scribe?
Because they are effective combatants who have survived multiple engagements.
No, because they expect pensions. They expect medical benefits. A fresh recruit from a hive world is cheap, expendable. A grizzled veteran is a lingering financial liability. And this detachment, look at the math and the reality check. It's disgusting.
The core mechanic seems to be order saturation, sir.
Explain it.
It adds +1 to the number of orders each officer can issue. Furthermore, while a unit is affected by an order, they get to re-roll a hit roll of 1.
Okay, so more orders, better hitting.
And if they are near an objective marker, they also re-roll a wound roll of 1.
Middle management bloat. That's what that is. Suddenly, every lieutenant is shouting twice as much. But that's not the crime here. The crime is the loop. The tank commander exploit identified in the Vermilion report. Read the technical interaction.
It says, tank commanders order themselves.
Explain that. How is that possible?
Well, because a tank commander has the officer keyword, and the detachment rule states, while an Astra Militarum unit is affected by an order, the tank commander can issue the take aim order to his own vehicle. And that does what? This action triggers the detachment bonus for himself.
So let me get this straight. The tank commander shouts, drive better, inside his own tank. This gives him +1 to hit from the order itself.
Correct.
And because he's now affected by an order, he also gets to re-roll ones to hit.
Yes.
And if he is parking on an objective, which he always is because he's a tank, he also re-rolls ones to wound.
That is the correct calculation, sir.
Yeah.
He is essentially stacking buffs by talking to himself.
It's a closed-loop bureaucratic absurdity. Driver, target that Titan. I am the driver, sir. Good job, me. And because of this, they are hitting with a mathematical certainty that borders on heresy.
Auspex does mention that Rogaldorns and tank commanders are the standout units.
Of course they are. They are filing errors in the enemy's favor. They're exploiting a loophole in the rules of engagement.
The report It also mentions a specific incident, a super heavy interaction, a shadow sword, utilizing orders from Lord Solar Leontus.
Don't make me say it. I read that file. It made me physically sick.
It deleted Lionel Johnson in a single volley on turn 1.
A Primarch, the son of the Emperor, a supreme strategic asset worth hundreds, maybe thousands of points in the Grand Ledger, deleted by a tank commander shouting at himself and a glorified tractor with a volcano cannon.
It does seem efficient.
That isn't War Scribe. That is a filing efficiency. That is taking a line item labeled demigod and pressing the backspace key. Auspex calls this top tier. I call it creative accounting.
Although, Auspex does note a potential vulnerability in the Guard's fiscal strategy. He mentions that battle shock is a major problem.
Ah, yes. Battle shock.
Because if a unit is battle shocked, it cannot receive orders.
Battle shock, yes. Let's talk about battle shock. Do you hear that noise?
The ventilation fan, sir. It appears to be vibrating out of alignment again.
Again. That fan has been rattling for 3 years. 3 years. I have filed Form 77B in triplicate, requesting maintenance. Do you know what the Munitorum Logistics Servitor told me?
I can't imagine, sir.
It told me it was battle shocked.
I believe the servitor meant it was overloaded with data, sir, not...
It told me it couldn't process the order because the sheer volume of paperwork regarding the fluctuating price of quill ink had overwhelmed its logic circuits. That is battle shock, Scribe. It's not fear of death. It's administrative paralysis.
Sir, please, your blood pressure. The biomonitors are flashing ember.
Do not speak to me of blood pressure. I am living in a state of permanent battle shock. I cannot issue proper orders to you because I am too busy trembling with rage at the sheer incompetence of the facilities management team.
Sure.
The aftermilitarum loses efficiency when they are shell-shocked. I lose efficiency when I can't get a decent cup of recaf because the beans were routed to a shrine world by mistake. 10 seconds. 10 seconds of pure vitriol is what my life is. A 10-second loop of me screaming at a broken fan.
It seems to have stopped, sir.
It's mocking me. It's waiting. Just like the Drukhari. Move on. Audit item number 3. The sadists.
Yes, sir, the Drukhari. Auspex Tactics reports they are rising up, with a win rate hovering around 60% in specific builds.
60%. And the detachment.
He calls the detachment Spectacle of Spite.
Correction. It is Spectacle of Strife you malfunction. S-T-R-I-F-E. Spite is what I feel for you. Strife is what they cause on the table. Auspex needs to check his nomenclature before publishing. What makes this detachment so profitable?
The combat drugs mechanic, sir. Unlike previous fiscal quarters where the drugs were fixed assets assigned at the start of the venture.
A fixed-rate mortgage, yes.
The reality check confirms this is now a phase-based injection system.
Variable interest rates. Much more dangerous. Go on.
In the command phase, the player picks or simply rolls for a drug. +1 attack, +1 strength, +2 movement. They can adapt their portfolio turn by turn.
And the management is skimming off the top, I assume.
Auspex notes that the succubus character receives extra drug rolls, which allows her to stack multiple buffs on herself.
Typical executive behavior. The workforce gets 1 drug, the CEO gets 2. She's taking a double bonus while the company burns. But that's just standard corporate corruption. The real killer, the thing that pushes this to a 60% win rate, is the defensive clause, the fights first mechanic.
Yes, the detachment grants access to fights first. Auspex describes the playstyle as disembark heavy and very aggressive.
Let me explain this in terms of the ledger. In the current economy of violence, fights first is the ultimate asset protection. Usually if you charge an enemy unit, you strike first. That's the reward for aggression. It's the social contract of melee combat. I run at you, I hit you.
Correct. The charger possesses the initiative.
But against the spectacle of strife, you charge a unit of witches, and they utilize their stratagems and their rules to strike before you even lift your chainsword. It is a bad investment.
A bad investment.
You are paying the full cost of the charge, the movement, the risk, the exposure, but you are receiving 0 return on your investment. You are simply delivering your biomass directly to their blenders.
Auspex does call it a hard counter to melee armies.
It's not a hard counter, it's a breach of contract. The social contract has been voided by a chemically enhanced gladiator in latex. If you are playing World Eaters or Blood Angels and you see this detachment across the table, do not deploy. Just file for bankruptcy, save everyone the time.
A 60% win rate is very high.
Of course it is. They're cheating the turn sequence. Next item. The poster boys. The audit that never ends.
Space Marines, sir. Specifically, the Ultramarines. Auspex reports they have taken 13 grand tournament wins recently.
13, of course.
He highlights a specific asset, Captain Titus and his Wardens of Ultramar. He calls Titus an auto-include.
Titus.
Yeah.
The man who refuses to stay in the lore books. And this 500 Worlds campaign, I read the reality check on this, it's exhausting.
The 500 Worlds Titus campaign is the primary physical release for January, sir. It includes 4 separate documents. Book I details the Ultramarine reclamation.
And Book 2 details the war on the Vespeter front. It's a slipcase, Scribe. A literal slipcase of bureaucracy. But let's cut to it. Let's talk about Titus. The reality check identifies a rule. Honor of Ultramar. Read me the fine print.
If Titus is removed from play and has not yet fought on a 2+ roll, he can fight immediately.
So even when he's dead, he's not dead. Go on.
Furthermore, if he destroys an enemy model during this sequence, he is not removed from play and instead returns with D3 wounds remaining.
Plot armor. That is what that is. It is plot armor codified into law. It is a zombie loop of bureaucracy.
A zombie loop, sir.
Yes. You file the paperwork to kill him. The paperwork is rejected on a 2+. He stands back up. You file it again. He stands back up. You cannot close the file on Titus. He is an unclosable ticket in the system.
Auspex does mention that his unit, the Wardens of Ultramar, are weirdly tanky for that cheap cost.
Weirdly tanky is civilian speak for undercosted assets. But the real tragedy here is the campaign itself. The reality check references significant community fatigue. The Grimdank sector is full of operatives joking about the 499 worlds.
Yes, sir. There is significant chatter regarding the logistical horror of fighting through 499 worlds before getting to the actual point of the narrative.
That sounds like my Tuesday. I fight through 499 forms just to get a stapler. And these Space Marine players, they complain, oh, I have too many new releases. Oh, I have too many lieutenants. Cry me a river of Promethium.
Other factions have not received as much attention.
Try being an AdMech player, auditing a 53% win rate that relies entirely on Belisarius' call, carrying the entire faction on his rusty metal back. Or the Custodes players, who are currently weeping into their gold armor because their rules are as dry as a desert tomb.
Speaking of tombs, the final audit item is the Necrons.
Ah, the metal skeletons. At least they don't eat. Low overhead. Very efficient. What does Auspex say?
He predicts they will rapidly rise up to be one of the armies to beat.
A prediction.
He cites the Tzeentchian stat lines updated and the new detachment called Pantheon of Woe. He suspects they will become the best faction in Warhammer 40k.
An inflationary threat has been detected. The reality check confirms this. The hypercrypt data. The Dread Incursions book. What's the tactical assessment?
The C10 are faster and tougher. Auspex notes that pretty much every list is using at least one C10 and plenty using 2 or more. He calls them super oppressive at a casual level.
They are audit-proof assets, Scribe. That's what they are. Look at the Nightbringer. Look at the Void Dragon. They teleport across the board. They ignore the laws of physics. They ignore terrain. How do you tax a god that can phase through the walls of the tax office?
You can't, sir.
You can't. You just let them take what they want and hope they don't notice your stapler.
The reality check also notes that Book 3, Dread Incursions, includes missions specifically designed for Tomb World terrain.
Wonderful. So not only are they invincible, they are terraforming the battlefield to match their home decor. It is a hostile takeover. The Necrons are the venture capitalists of the galaxy. They sleep for 60 million years, accrue interest on their power, wake up, and then liquidate the competition. And Auspex is right. They will be top tier. Because in a world of rampant inflation, the entity that owns the gold standard, or in this case, the Necrodermis standard, rules the market.
That concludes the individual audit item, sir. The scribe, that is, I would humbly ask for a summary judgment.
You want a synthesis?
How should the field commanders listening to this broadcast interpret this January 2026 meta?
Fine. Let's look at the big picture. This isn't a battlefield anymore. It's a corporate hierarchy.
A hierarchy.
At the very top, you have the Grizzled Company. The Imperial Guard. They are the apex predator because they rely on simple, brutal math. Order saturation. Rerolls. It is cold, hard efficiency. It is the accounting department, and it is armed with a battle cannon.
And below them,
the Scintillating Legion. The sleeper agent. Complexity wins here. They confuse you with tokens and exchange rates and psychological tricks until you realize you've sold your soul for a reroll you gave them in the first place.
And the Drukhari.
The spectacle of strife. They are the hard counter. Speed wins. They are the sudden market crash that liquidates your assets before you can even react.
So what is the final recommendation for our listeners? For the taxable assets.
My recommendation is simple. If you are facing the Guard, prioritize officer assassination. You must break the chain of command. Without officers, the grizzled company is just a parking lot full of tanks waiting to be scrapped.
So you target the leadership?
Kill the middle management,
Yeah.
and the corporation falls apart. It's that simple.
And if they face Captain Titus?
Ignore him. He's a distraction. He's a sinkhole for your damage output. He wants you to fight him so he can respawn and waste your time. Don't give him the satisfaction. Play the objective. File your paperwork somewhere else.
Sage advice. Senior auditor.
Sage. No. Cynical. Experience is just cynicism with a better vocabulary.
Yes, sir.
Look at the numbers, Scribe. 57% for Daemons, 53% for Guard, 60% for the witch cults.
The win rates, sir. The metrics of success.
Win rates, percentages, ratios. We obsess over the math of victory. We watch Auspec's tactics. We read the Vermilion reports. We try to balance the equation of war.
We try to solve the puzzle.
We think if we just find the right list, the right detachment, we can solve it. But look at the ledger closely.
Sure.
Whether it is a Tzeentchian bolt of change turning a man into whimpering spawn, or a Cadian battle cannon vaporizing a rebel, or a Drukhari blade slicing through power armor, the result is the same.
The result?
It's not a percentage point. It's a name, deleted from the ledger, a file, closed. A silence where a scream used to be. We are just auditing the graveyard, Scribe. We are just counting the bonds and pretending it's mathematics.
That is very grim, sir, even for this department.
It's the only reality check that matters.
Now close the file.
Yes, auditor.
Dismissed. Pay your tithes, citizens.